Welcome to the Explainer. There's this one piece of software that most of us have a complicated relationship with: antivirus. It's supposed to be our digital guardian, right? But so often, it feels like it's actually working against us. This quote from a discussion about Avast, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The very tool that was designed to be the hero has, for so many of us, turned into a source of frustration and sometimes even a security risk itself. So the big question is, how did we get here? In this explainer, we're going to unpack the whole paradox of antivirus software. We'll dig into why the very thing we install for safety can end up feeling so untrustworthy. Okay, let's dive in. All right, let's kick things off with something I'm pretty sure we can all relate to. That feeling of just pure frustration when you're dealing with antivirus software. Okay, so look, every single program you run is going to use up some of your computer's resources. That's just how it works. But antivirus software, man, it's a whole different beast. It's this incredibly demanding tenant that's always on, constantly scanning in the background. And those deep scans, they can bring even a really powerful PC to its knees, causing freezes and crashes at the absolute worst times. And it's not just about your computer slowing to a crawl, is it? We've all seen this stuff. The endless, annoying pop-ups that feel like scare tactics, the way it conflicts with other perfectly good software, and don't even get me started on how hard they can be to uninstall. It feels less like protection and more like a digital shakedown sometimes. So to really get why these companies act the way they do, you've got to follow the money. And believe me, there is a ton of it in an industry that's basically built on our collective fear of getting hacked. And we're not talking about a small market here. I mean, look at these numbers. It was worth over $4 billion in 2022, and it's on track to more than double in a decade. That kind of growth is fueled by a never-ending stream of new cyber threats. And that fear, it's not just some abstract idea. It's super real. A single, successful scam can wipe out thousands of dollars from someone's bank account. That makes the sales pitch for protection incredibly powerful. The thing is, some companies push this fear button a little too hard. They start using tactics that are basically scareware. They hit you with these alarming pop-ups and urgent warnings, and it totally blurs the line between a real security alert and just a high-pressure sales pitch trying to make you panic buy their software. And that leads us to this classic saying: if it is free, then you are the product. And boy, did this hit home when major antivirus companies like Avast were caught red-handed selling their users' web browsing data. It just exposed this really troubling reality. For some of these free products, the real business wasn't about protecting you, it was about selling your privacy. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. We've got to talk about the bizarre economics of cybersecurity, because it's a huge part of the puzzle and explains why this market behaves in such a weird, counterintuitive way. So we all get how a positive network effect works, right? Think of a social network. The more of your friends who join, the more valuable it is for you. Well, antivirus software, believe it or not, works on the complete opposite principle. Think about it. The more people that install protection, the fewer infected computers are out there spewing out viruses. That makes the whole internet safer for everyone, which means the indirect risk to you actually goes down. So weirdly, the more successful the product is and the more people use it, the less valuable it becomes for the next person thinking about buying it. So what does this mean for the companies? It creates this totally backward incentive. It's actually not in their best financial interest to make their product super cheap and get it on every computer. They can actually make more money by keeping prices high and not protecting everyone because the perceived threat stays higher, which justifies that price tag. All right, so we've talked about the business models, but what if I told you the cure itself can be just as risky? That the very software meant to protect you can actually open up a whole new set of dangers. Look, all software has bugs. That's just a fact. The people writing this code are human. They make mistakes. But here's the thing. When there's a bug in your antivirus software, a program that has the keys to the entire kingdom on your computer, the highest level of privilege, well, that creates a uniquely dangerous opportunity for attackers. And no, this is not just some what-if scenario. It's actually happened. In one security test, the attackers realized they could literally migrate their malicious code and hide it inside the antivirus program itself. The watchdog became the perfect hiding place for the wolf. You see, to catch malware that does sneaky, weird stuff, antivirus programs have to do their own sneaky, weird stuff. And this can create what's been called a private Cold War right on your own computer, causing legitimate software to break. And then what happens? We, the users and developers, end up blaming the operating system when the antivirus is the real culprit. So you've got these aggressive business models, you've got these major technical flaws. It's really no surprise that regulators are finally stepping in to try and change the rules of the game for the entire industry. And one of the biggest moves here is coming from the EU. It's called the Cyber Resilience Act. And trust me, this is a big deal. It's not just about antivirus, it's designed to set a new, higher standard for security for pretty much all digital products sold in Europe. Basically, this act puts the responsibility squarely on the shoulders of the manufacturers. They now have to ship products that are secure right out of the box. They have to have systems in place to fix vulnerabilities when they're found. And this is huge. They have to clearly state and provide security updates for a specific amount of time. The days of just selling a product and walking away are coming to an end. Now, this isn't all happening tomorrow. It's a phased rollout. You'll see mandatory reporting of big vulnerabilities start in late 2026, and then the whole thing goes into full effect at the end of 2027. And you better believe this regulation has teeth. We're talking serious teeth. If companies don't comply, they're looking at staggering fines of up to 15 million euros, or 2.5% of their global turnover. That's the kind of money that gets a company's attention and really forces them to prioritize security. So, all of this brings us back to the big question, right? We've seen the user frustration, the questionable business models, and the real technical risks. Now, with powerful new regulations forcing accountability, is this finally going to be enough to reform the industry? Can our digital bodyguards finally become the heroes we always wanted them to be?